Today we're talking lives reimagined. What if inside you had a piece to the puzzle that could change this world? That's what's coming up.
I would go to my grandmother's in Colombia, and we had to wash clothes by hand there, and then come full circle to come work for an appliance company all these years later. It really connected me to the cause and wanting to change that for other women and girls out there.
You didn't go to Bonton unless you had a reason to go to Bonton.
It was just kind of tucked away in, a back part of the city, and no one really went there. But now, they have a light shining. They're illuminated now, right? It's totally different.
For a lot of us, it has been a long time coming, and we put literal blood, sweat, and tears into this joint right here.
Both of our characters are so strong and firm in who they are and what they want to do and what they believe, and the positive in that kind of conviction and seeing that type of conviction in a young woman is encouragement for whatever your passion is in life.
Hello and welcome to the season premiere of the Whitney Reynolds Show. If you're new to our program, we want to be the strongest voice of hope when it comes to media. But also, if you're coming back from our past seasons, you might recognize a new look. We are ready to take things to the next level. And kicking us off today, we are talking Lives Reimagined. Awakening the soul of our stories.
Come for the stories, stay for the heart. Where every journey
you might recognize a new look. We are ready to take things to the next level.
Whitney's here to share your dream. It's the Whitney
You are watching the Whitney Reynolds Show. Be careful.
Real voices, real lives in every episode. This is the Whitney Reynolds Show.
Around the world, millions of women and girls spend hours each day hand-washing clothes. But what if laundry wasn't just a chore, but actually a barrier to education, rest, and opportunity? This is the story of a simple solution with transformative impact.
When I was growing up in New York City, we didn't have a washing machine, so laundry day was always about hauling big bags to the laundromat and then hoping that a machine was open.
But for Rosa, laundry was never just laundry. It was woven into her story across generations.
When I was a little girl, I would go to my grandmother's in Colombia, and we had to wash clothes by hand there. That was a real eye-opening experience. I remember washing in cold water and how that stung my fingers. I did notice that my grandmother, it was back-breaking work, and it was 3 hours per day, so that was very difficult. And I think just that awareness, and then come full circle to come work for an appliance company all these years later, is really interesting to me because it really connected me to the cause and wanting to change that for other women and girls out there.
What started as a childhood memory became a mission, and now a calling. For Rosa, it led to advocacy inside Whirlpool. And for our next guest, it was the invention. The founder of the Washing Machine Project joins us in studio to share how one neighbor, one promise, and one prototype became a global movement.
That's when the penny dropped and the light bulb moment happened, and I said to Divya, I'll make you one.
You were in India trying to fix something else and identified another issue.
I found myself in India because I really wanted to help the planet, not hinder the planet, and it was an amazing place. These are people that have so very little, but love so much. And yes, they don't have continuous running water, and if you don't have a generator, there's frequent blackouts. But they welcomed me with open arms, and I was next door neighbors with an incredible lady called Divya.
Divya, and when you met her, you noticed a trend that was happening day in, hour upon hour, and even keeping some young girls at home
Yeah.
and out of school.
Yeah, exactly, Whitney. So Divya used to spend hours and hours a week on unpaid labor, hand washing her family's clothes. She'd spend up to 20 hours a week doing this. And it wasn't just her, it was every lady on the street, every girl in the village. And, there was a big problem there. And I wanted to find out why and how can I fix it.
Nav didn't go to India to fix laundry, but when he saw the burden, he couldn't ignore it.
I offered her an electric washing machine.
Oh, you said, hey, let's just hook it up.
Yeah, I'll buy you an electric washing machine.
She's like, hang on, there's a little issue with that.
Yeah, so that's when the penny dropped and the light bulb moment happened. And I said to Divya, I'll make you one. I promise to come back here and bring you a washing machine.
Wow, and not only did you sign still, you also delivered that promise and named the machine
Divya.
One woman's name now represents hope for millions. But designing a machine is only part of the story. Bringing it to life takes innovation, commitment, and a team behind the scenes. At the heart of the effort is Greg, an engineering leader who helped transform Divya from concept into global distribution.
The washing machine project is a not-for-profit based out of the UK that kind of crossed paths with Whirlpool a few years back, and we both had the same mission of reaching underserved communities with solutions for washing clothes as an alternative to hand washing. And we found that we could combine our efforts and be more impactful. So we entered into a multi-year relationship with them, Whirlpool and the Washing Machine Project. And when they came to Whirlpool and we started this relationship, they brought their initial design and we started collaborating, looking at how we could make it more user-friendly for assembling it, lower cost for manufacturing it, easier to distribute it around the world. So we started this great collaboration, their engineering team, our engineering team, and improving the design. And we improved the design both for the end user, but also for the manufacturing and distribution of the machine.
For me, it was very important that volunteers not just come and show up and check a box. So for me, it was very important that they connect to the cause, which is why we started with the washout experience, which is an immersive experience. We make employees wash clothes by hand first. I think one of the more meaningful stories for me was when a gentleman from India who has grown up seeing his family members, women, washing clothes by hand, came here to the experience and he said, this is the first time that I've had real empathy for what my mom and sister go through every day.
We've set up the manufacturing line to where anyone could show up. A Whirlpool employee can take a day of their time and come here, and we've built it in a way that you don't have to have any expertise in manufacturing, but we have multimodal work instructions, so it's written text, it's pictures showing how the machine goes together. We also have a video that has some AI-generated steps in it that helps them see how the machine goes together, of us building the machine, and then they can follow along at their own pace and build the machine.
This isn't just a side project. It's a company-wide effort rooted in empathy.
And it was immediate impact. It was really emotional for me to see just how fast a machine could change a girl's life. You know, laundry isn't just a chore. It really is a sacrifice of time.
The whole time that we're with her, it was so emotional. And she said something really beautiful to us. She said, you've supported me now, but there's millions of women just like me around the world, so go find them because they need your support.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
There could be a boy and a girl in the same family and the girl gets to stay home and wash clothes while the boy goes to school. So you think of the impact of that, losing that opportunity at a young age, you can never reclaim that back. So to be able to be doing something to change that, I think about what possibly my grandmother or my own mother would have been able to do if they would have had that time.
We have already distributed hundreds of machines to countries like India, the Republic of Congo, Mexico, Uganda, Ghana. We just loaded a sea container last week. 72 machines rolled out on a truck heading to Congo last week.
A machine built in Michigan, changing lives around the world.
Honestly, the reason I stick around is those opportunities to get to improve people's lives at home every day. It's what has kept me at Whirlpool for 15 years.
One day we'll be laughing at the time we only made just washing machines.
A washing machine may not seem revolutionary, but when it gives a girl her education, a mother her dignity, and a grandmother her peace, it's an actual turning point.
We head to Dallas, Texas on this show. I put on my boots and helped plant seeds of change. Let's take a look.
The old Bonton, you didn't go to Bonton unless you had a reason to go to Bonton.
It was just kind of tucked away in, a bad part of the city, and no one really went there. But now, I mean, they have a light shining. They're illuminated now, right? It's totally different.
It's one way in, one way out. A whole different story. We get deliveries, like we get pizza deliveries. It was no way possible we could get the pizza delivery 25, 30 years ago. Like, no. This was just a neighborhood it was a town left alone, all forgotten about.
The way that we've been growing is really just providing hope. It's really crazy to think that a community like this has been without the human essentials that communities where I live here in Dallas have, and just be able to provide something for them to be able to build their life on has been tremendous.
What is it like for you to be here now and see the change that is created? I mean, I would say in a very short time.
Yeah, it's, it's very affirming. When we started this, I don't think we had a single person that believed in what we set out to do. As hard as this is to say, I think that by and large, the bulk of society has written off people that come from places like this.
I ended up losing my 16-year-old son to gun violence. 364 days later, I lost my grandmother.
Did you seek drugs and alcohol?
Basically. At that time, it wasn't as bad as it was before because I was trying to come out of a space, a recognizable space. And so when I got here, I had that opportunity.
Did you ever see yourself finding your new story on a farm?
I heard the stories, but to actually come and see it, I was shocked. I've been down the street all of this time and I didn't know.
What was it like to hear that there were people in the city that believed in this area, believed in change?
That was the icing on the cake for me. And the reason being is because I'm a grandmother's baby. And so my grandmother was my world. And the love that she exhibited, I thought that nobody else could do that.
For some reason, we always try to focus on the differences and not what we have in common. That is way more in abundance than what we have different. And so connecting those dots helps us connect as human beings instead of rich, poor, white, black.
Bonton, located in South Dallas, bears the heavy legacy of Jim Crow segregation, discriminatory housing policies, and racial violence, unavoidable aspects of America's urban history. When our film crew arrived, we noticed open gates, hinting at the possibility of a new story unfolding for this community. And that's where Darren Babcock stepped in.
March of 1998, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. And then 2 years to the date of her diagnosis, she died. And just all of that stuff kind of tipped over. And I just had never built up the muscle to deal with it.
Right.
And so started this really reckless behavior of hurting other people so that I could feel okay for just a minute. And so I did a line of cocaine that night for the first time, and it's like, oh, I have this same relief from hurting other people. Now I don't have to hurt other people. And so I started leaning on cocaine and alcohol to feel better, until it didn't. And by that time, I was just in a really bad spot. I just remember falling on my knees one night and saying, God, I don't know if you're real or not, but if you are, I quit. And everything changed. I don't think I chose Bonton. In some way, we just chose each other.
Bonton Farms started as a garden in a food desert, transforming what was a vacant lot into a source of fresh food with a lot of hope. One of its primary goals has been to support residents, particularly formerly incarcerated men, in finding meaningful work. The mission here goes beyond farming. It's about community, transformation, restoring lives, creating jobs, and igniting hope. Today, Bonton Farms features a market, a coffee shop, and its newest addition, a wellness center.
Charity Classic, it's something most amazing event that the Invited, our parent company, puts together. It's all about relationship networking and raise money for an amazing cause for local community.
That was the vision, was to have a place where people could have respite and to find home here on the farm and a new hope. And thankfully, for Invited, we are committed to every club hosting a charity classic every year. So as a family of Invited clubs, we've raised over $30 million since that inception. And Tower Club Dallas's version of Charity Classic did just that. So we're able to create funding for purpose that's tangible.
One of the biggest pieces that I love is we're not just going out and doing good for others. We're also like bringing the fruits of their labor into the club, right? So you bring a client in for dinner and it's not just like, here's some broccoli. It's like you get a story behind the broccoli, right? And I think that that's so impactful to how we reciprocate that relationship.
To be a part of this board, eat the wonderful food that's coming from there, right? So it's not that like, it's okay, we're just doing it for them. They're making great food. The produce is wonderful. It's a give and take. They're providing to us as much as we're taking from them.
When the 2022 census data came out, we learned that our average median household income over that 10-year period increased 106%.
Wow.
Our high school graduation rates went from perennially at 54% to now 76.7%.
5 girls ages 7 to 12 on a Sunday afternoon did $15,000 worth of damage to the farm. Today, these 5 girls are some of our biggest ambassadors, but more importantly, we've helped their mothers to get jobs. One's now a medical assistant at the Health and Wellness Center. One is working with one of our partners. Another one is excited to continue the education so she can work with us. Wow. What could have been a very fracturing and detrimental situation turned out to be one of the biggest blessings.
We had a partner organization that brought a homeless person here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. And they went up to hand this gentleman a blanket, and he was in the process of actively trying to take his life and just didn't know what to do. So they brought him here. And I'm like, what are you, like, what? You know, this place is miraculous, but like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at 4 o'clock on a Friday. I'll give you a place to stay tonight if you promise me that you'll eat your meal, go to bed, and then we'll start the conversation tomorrow. And I just remember going home and going, you know, that was a bad decision. What happens if something happens here? And so I didn't sleep much that night. I got here the next morning and I went to the house he was staying in and he wasn't there. And so I started to panic and went back to where the goats are, and he was sitting on a bench back there and had 2 baby goats, one on each side, nibbling on both of his ears, trying to nurse from his ears. And he was smiling. When you meet people, you don't know their story. You haven't earned the right to know their story yet. You just see them for who they are. And all I saw were these beautiful people that were just filled with dreams and potential, and that were resilient because they'd endured so much more than me in my life, and were still fighting and still standing.
You know, they say every 7 years you're somebody different. You're a different person. And so if you don't give yourself that opportunity, you'll never know.
Today, this land is not just about survival. In fact, it's a thriving hub welcoming a diverse group of entrepreneurs from around the city eager to lend their skills and support. This transformation is empowering residents and sparking change. A pocket now known for being the largest hope dealer in South Dallas.
I see myself in all these people. These are my people, just like you. I see some of myself in you, your kind nature and your desire to help and be a good person for your city and your community. We share that. Some of the things that the people in these communities may suffer from is that they've been neglected and they don't carry that gene. It's been almost beat out of them. Wow. But if I can, I'm here to bring it back, to make them understand that this is theirs.
Bonton Farms is not about just farming, right? It's about social impact, changing policies, breaking that cycle of the policies that are instilled that it is designed for you never to get out. And I think Darren can speak to that better than anybody else. And that was the idea of how can we support you. And through our board, through our relationships, we were able to, through Charity Classic, right? We started a concert series because of Charity Classic and our members. And then we were able to start raising money to build tiny homes on the property. It's a journey that keeps continuing, and we are 5 years into it that keep going.
It goes back to the hope. It's hope realized. It's the community seeing, they said this, and I kind of believe them, but now it's happening, and my life is changing.
Just being able to break that cycle that just repetitively basically suppresses a certain demographic. And so it's a great way to really make sure they're expanding on that. And really, if Bonton does better, Dallas does better. Dallas does better, Texas does better. Texas does better, country does better.
First time I heard these folks say, we're going to Bonton, and I turned around, I was like, who? Who's going to Bonton and why are we going? And then they told me about the relationship that they have now. And the first time I went, I was like, this is not the Bonton that I knew.
The view itself and the people in this environment are inspiring.
Life is hard for all of us in different ways. The answer of how we get through all that stuff is community. We need each other.
My stepdad used to say the best way to know a thing is to take it apart.
When the mind of a genius is fueled by heartbreak and rebuilt by resilience. This is Ironheart.
Hello and welcome to Chicago, girls.
Thank you.
I have to say, Ironheart, the whole AI version, dramatic theme, really showcasing Chicago. There were so many different emotions.
So glad it's finally here. Oh my God. And I can't say that I've been waiting as long as Miss Dominique Thorne has over here, but for a lot of us, it has been a long time coming, and we put literal blood, sweat, and tears into this joint right here. So I'm excited for everybody who's a part of it.
There's so many different plot points. What did you think, Lyric, whenever you got the script and you're like, okay, I'm like dead, and then I come back as AI?
It was exciting, coming from a character that I was so used to doing for the past 5 years. Deja from TIU, she was very specific in the opposite way.
Yeah.
Right? And I was very excited to just do something completely different, and that is exactly what Natalie is.
Both of our characters are so strong and firm in who they are and what they want to do and what they believe, and it's really hard to kind of convince them otherwise, that either of them are wrong, or that things should be done some way other than how they see it. And as we see in the show, that comes with its own set of challenges. The plus there, the positive in that kind of conviction, and seeing that type of conviction in a young woman, is encouragement for whatever your passion is in life, and whatever, especially if it has to do with utilizing this skill or this knowledge that you've been able to craft and mine within yourself.
Sometimes reinvention isn't a choice, it's a calling. We see that grief doesn't break her, it actually rebuilds her. The armor is smart, but the heart, that is where the real story lives.
You should take your dad's advice. Break yourself down. See what you're made of.
We definitely see how Ironheart kind of got that name from her losing her stepfather. GSW, straight to the heart. And I think out of that, we're seeing Riri try to navigate this. I don't know, it's honestly still a bit of a mystery to most people still today, but trying to navigate that thing called grief. And I think I can absolutely understand, empathize, relate to, commend her desire to sort of keep going for the sake of her family, to, make them proud and shoulder all these additional responsibilities because she knows that it would have honored her late stepfather, but also having that grief kind of quietly eat away at you because you're not acknowledging it and you're not taking the time to really sit with it and give it the attention that it deserves. So I think that is also a pretty big theme coming out of the show that I'm grateful that we get to talk about in this way, and that I hope it encourages those who may be, having that conversation within themselves currently to take a moment and do a bit of that reflection as well.
We walk away kind of on a cliffhanger, just to be completely honest. You don't know what happens. What goes on after this?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We'll
Okay,
just
so you
have
don't
to
know.
stay
Yeah.
tuned. Season 2, we'll see.
Oh my goodness, so many dot points for everybody to watch. Thank you both, ladies.
Thank you.
Because of your streaming with us today, we have something a little extra. This next segment is a special bonus, our way of saying thank you for watching and being part of our hope-filled community.
Is this the energy of like a home dropping date?
Yeah, this is kind of everyday energy. It's sort of like, what does it look like to just rebuild our city one block at a time?
Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thank you very much for having me.
So we are doing our season 11 crossover. You are that person when it comes to lives reimagined. We just watched the Washing Machine Project, but here in our home city of Chicago, you are really changing lives. Tell us a little bit about Inherent Homes.
Thank you. Yeah, Inherent Homes is this fundamental belief that housing is a right and an opportunity for everybody. It's sanctuary, it's safety, it's hope. It's family. And so for us, Inherent Homes means replacing the vacancy that we have in our neighborhoods with thriving homeownership, with homes that can last generations, with wealth that's created through them.
And you're being very humble because I've been at one of your home droppings, if that's what we call it.
Yeah.
But it is truly incredible, folks, because what he's doing is he creates these homes and he's going into neighborhoods that have been left behind,
That's exactly
that
right.
have been deserted, maybe have broken windows, and you're dropping brand new homes.
That's right. That's right. We say all the time we're blessed. We get to plant homes in the fabric of neighborhood. Our homes are built right here in North Lawndale by a workforce that is the first trade jobs they've ever had. Our employees being able to buy our homes means that we're building a virtuous economy. We're restoring neighborhoods. We're reinvesting around elementary schools so that there is stability and certainty.
I remember I asked you because we were looking at some land in
Yeah.
Michigan, and I was like, can I drop one of your homes in Michigan? And I love what you said because you were very authentic. You know the mission. You're like, yeah, I could do that, and I could probably make a lot more money doing that. But you are dedicated to really going into these underserved neighborhoods.
Gosh, it is just, it's a fundamental belief that we're all better when we all have more opportunity. And so for our neighborhoods across the city that have seen that disinvestment, it's time for that radical reinvestment, that radical rebuilding, that commitment to each other. We're only as good as the least of us, and the way we can support each other and come around, gosh, that's what it's all about.
When I was at the placement of one of your homes, the cranes came in.
Yeah.
You're like literally piecing it together. Walk our viewers through that.
That's exactly right. So on a planting day for us, these homes that are fully finished in our facility on the west side, lights and counters and cabinets, everything is done. So 7 a.m. a crane arrives, 8 a.m. the first floor arrives, by 10 a.m.
It's
the
so true.
second floor. And they fly over other houses, get set in between. And so you see just in the span of a day what was a vacant lot. Lots that have been vacant for 20, 30, 40 years is now ready for a family in just a few weeks.
You know, there was a story that I heard when we were on location, and it was that somebody left a window open. And in the past, maybe the neighborhood didn't care or they weren't worried. And now they were calling people and saying, hey, make sure you get that fixed.
That's exactly right. It was neighbors calling across neighborhoods, across 290 from one side of the city to the other to find out and make certain whether or not that window was supposed to be open. It's that sort of magic. It's seeing a home get planted and the next day a garden get replanted in front of somebody's house, because now it's good investment following good investment. Folks that finally see that the fight that they've had on their block to stabilize it, others are coming alongside with that.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Today's show was packed with visionaries. They didn't just see the world as it is, but reimagined the possibilities. Remember, your story matters.